Okay, well, here we are again with part two of my Mexican um, Revolution books, uniforms, and such. And so, in looking up some of this information, it is important to find out the names of the photographers, even American ones. I know that there was a couple famous ones that were down there, but generally that kind of stuff is in private museums or private websites and such. So it's not always easy to find good pictures or a lot of pictures. You keep seeing the same ones over and over and over again. Well, the same thing is in Mexico. And if you saw my last video, I did mention that at least two of the more famous photographers that were photographing the Mexican Revolution, and that was um, Victor Agustin Casasola and Sabino Osuna. So these books here are basically kind of like some of their works. This book here was is in Spanish. It was published in 1986, and it says Jefes, Héroes y Caudillos, which means bosses or chiefs, heroes, and warlords. Um, they both have very good quality pictures. Obviously, this book is a little bit bigger, but let's thumb through this so we can see what kind of stuff is in here. Now remember, my whole purpose was to look for uniforms and equipment that I can make because nobody really was making this stuff for reenacting or public impressions and such. And so in doing my research, it's really good quality pictures, really good. You won't be disappointed in this book if you like that time period or you like um, um, that history of that. So in looking up stuff, of course, you started with movies, and you learn different things as you go. And like these guys here, he's got a rolling block, a long one, probably 7 millimeter. They did use them in the Spanish 43 rolling block, and then they went to the 7 millimeter rolling block, both of which were very popular in Latin American countries. And so in doing some research, I found out, of course, that movies are full of garbage. Um, we always see the same style of Mexican soldier, which is the guy on a horse uh, in northern Mexico mostly, and wearing the khaki colored tan uniforms with a particular style of cartridge belt with suspenders, all leather. These guys here are already, you can already start to see some of the uniforms that you see in Mexican movies about the Mexican Civil War. They are a little bit um, more uniform. They have slightly different uniforms in some of their movies, even though they also have the same type of uniform that you see in American movies, like I just mentioned. So even the Mexicans were completely bogus when it came to their equipment in the movies. The equipment that they're using, if I researched it correctly, was actually used in 1940s, and it was used. It was actually German, and it was. I believe it was the Schutztruppen from West Africa style. It was the fourth pattern of that cartridge belt. So this guy here is very, very French looking, but these bandoliers here are what you actually see. If you start to get into really good pictures of the Mexican Revolution, you never see those cartridge belts that you saw in all Mexican and American movies about the Mexican Civil War. In reality, you see that style of bandolier, and the artillerymen tended to wear the pith helmets. And according to Osprey, they would had the, I believe it's the 1895 American pith helmet. So you see that a lot, but like I said, it's primarily the artillerymen that would have that pith helmet. Huerta. Here's Huerta again, looking very steampunk. And here's a good picture of, like that you would see in a movie, but you don't see that guy with that pith helmet. But this is basically the uniform that I'm talking about that I think we're all used to wearing. But in reality, that uniform is not the same as what these guys are wearing. And the Osprey book actually, I don't think it really tells you that, but it definitely shows you that, and even in their drawings, because these guys look very Frenchy to me, very Frenchy. The hat is really a kepi. I mean, plain and simple, it's a kepi. It's um, dark blue with red piping, which for Mexico it's infantry. That would be, for French, it would be artillery. But for those of us that went to Columbus a few times, and we got ourselves aviator goggles and handkerchiefs, it's like, whew, boy, that they really came in handy. So these hats here are actually still being sold today in the United States. And I actually had one from the 50s. And what you want to look up is Fire Chief hats. If you look that up on Google, Fire Chief hats, you'll see this pattern. You'll see this pattern. Unfortunately, they don't sell them in khaki like this. They sell them more fancy looking. Here's some more guys with more bandoliers. One thing I did realize was that the Mexican army did not have ammo pouches like the French and the British with their pattern 08s. And the Germans, if you saw my video on German ammunition pouches, the Mexican army did not have that stuff. They wore just bandoliers, bandoliers, bandoliers. The rurals, I know, because a lot of them did have rolling blocks. They of course would use the single loop bandoliers, and then people with Mausers, for example, use the stripper clip stuff, where the bullets were all sticking out, which is what got my attention to begin with, because I thought, oh, that's pretty cool, like this one. And there were lots of different styles. Some of them were wider leather, some of them were thinner, some of them had tabs over the stripper clip part. This is a pretty famous picture. I'm sure you'll see that in the internet. This is another picture where these guys are wearing, like, to me they look like German, very French kepi. And this picture, these two pictures are in my book that I did on the first part 1. Look at these guys here. I mean, look at this dude here. These bandoliers. Look at these here. Very German as far as I can tell. I could be wrong. You know, you could say that I'm wrong, but very French style. And the clothing, according to what you call it, Osprey, is made of cotton twill or cotton drill. And here's a cool picture of these guys on the Mexicans on an army on a train. These guys here again with more bandoliers, kepi. These guys here have a Mauser carbine with a snub nose. I looked that up, and of course I forget which one it was, so sorry. And just more pictures. But again, good big pictures, good quality pictures as well. Nothing cheap looking here. Very nice pictures. Here's a really cool, interesting picture. Again, since my focus was always on equipment, this is the first and only picture I've ever seen of this. Like a 2-pouch clip or something with leather suspenders. And I don't know if the belt goes around the rest of it. I don't know. I've never, ever seen anything except that right there. So anyway, this is a good book. Victor Agustin Casasola. That's the book. The person who took these pictures. And now let's look into this one, which is Sabino Osuna. This one is going to be in English, and it's going to be quite a bit bigger than the last book we just saw. But still, again, really good, nice pictures and very good quality photos. I don't know if anybody can identify what the heck this is, what rifle that is. I don't think the Mexican had a Kulian or the Mexican Mauser. This guy has a rolling block, and then you see all these other Mausers and a lever action. I don't know, Argentine? I don't know, but these are very nice pictures, very beautiful, good quality sharpness. For those of you who, I know that sometimes Osprey's pictures are not, they're not always the sharpest, but they have information in them, and that's good. Here's Huerta again with that movie style that we're so used to. Now this is also where you start to see, if you saw my first video, you saw me point out two soldiers that had arrested two other soldiers, and they're wearing leather shakos. Like I said, these are, in my opinion, from what I've seen in Mexico, these are the same ones. These are the French shakos that were also used in the American Civil War. I believe they're the pattern 1858 or the 1862, but I think most of you will recognize those. Look at this guy, very French looking. This dude right here with a trumpet. In my opinion, anyway, he looks very French. I say that just because I think it's pretty cool that you can recognize some of these things. Now look at this picture here. These guys are wearing, a lot of them are wearing the leather shako, double-breasted coat, which is most likely going to be wool, dark blue, red piping. My mom made a uniform like this for me, and I also have the the more khaki-looking uniform as well. Now let's take a look at these guys here. Here's more. No cartridge belts, but bandoliers. Bandoliers. And the red pom-poms, Mausers, more bandoliers, leather leggings. I don't know if the cavalry, I know artillery tended to wear those as well. This is pretty cool here. For those of you who like machine gun stuff. Isn't that French? Right? I believe that's French. I don't know too much about machine guns since I can't buy them. I don't look into them. This is a pretty cool picture right here. Very big. As you can see, it takes up the other page as well. But very, very cool. Just pictures and pictures, good quality photos. Saw that one already. So, hey, you can skip ahead if you want, but this book is available. This one was written or published in 2012, so it is pretty available if you like this kind of stuff. Good. I'll say it again. I know I said it before. Good quality pictures in English, so you can read anything you want. And this is the portraits. This guy right here. This guy right here is my aunt's grandfather. She's an aunt by marriage, General Panfilo Natera. He was fighting against Huerta, and he became governor of Zacatecas, where my mom is from. And so my aunt came from the hoity-toity upper crust of Mexican society, if you will. But yeah, there's a huge statue of him on a horse in Zacatecas on top of the hill. If you ever go there, you'll know what I mean by that. It's a 500-year-old city. I do recommend it. It's pretty cool, very beautiful, very Baroque. So anyway, that's this book here. If you like what you saw, you can go ahead and buy it, find it, look for it, buy it for your own collection. Now, I'm going to show you another little thing that I bought in Mexico or Zacatecas, which is this right here. And have you ever seen this before? Is a question for you. What is it? It's a postcard. Read the bottom. Oficina en Campamento Americano, Yankee, Invasión Yankee. Obviously, it's the invading Yankees in the field office, or camp office. Kind of cool. It is Mexican for sure. Back here you can read it. Very little. It says, it says something September 18, September 18. So anyway, I always like to show that one off because it cost me $5. I thought it was pretty cool. You never see that before. Anyway, I hope that you liked my videos. I hope they're not too long. And now if you're interested in that time period, you have some books to look for. And thank you very much. I'll see you next time.